Hello, my name is Nelson Nader, and I'm here with my friend,
I'm Parish Torch.
and this is Let's Play Mega Man Battle Network 6 Cybeast Gregar. Last time, we passed the preliminaries for the Expo Operator Navi test, and then we jack out. Well, what do we want to do? Maybe we should do some homework.
Thank goodness that something more interesting has just come up.
Yep, the homework is still there. You're still gonna have to do it, Lan. But instead, we're gonna go to see the trial of Captain Blackbeard. Remember that guy who took over the aquarium, was a bad trainer, abused the animals? We're gonna see him put in jail. Isn't that gonna be fun?
I'm so glad that they right away decide, hey, our best bet is to throw this child on the stand at a trial. We're just email him about it, not contact his parents or anything.
Yep.
Just, hey, you gotta go to court. See ya.
They also don't tell him until the day of, you know? Like he didn't know anything until now that hey, I gotta go to court. Like he's a kid, he could have anything else going on. He could be in sports or something. But no. Also, I wonder if Mom has anything to say about us going to court. Hey Mom, what do you think of us going to court? Well, don't stay out too late, she says. Oops.
I mean, that's partly on Lan for just not telling his parents what he's up to for something that serious.
Yeah. Like a very independent kid that we've got going on here. But yeah, it's our first time in Greentown. I wonder why it's called Greentown. Could it be because of all the plants? Couldn't be.
The literal tree buildings? I like that research, though. I would absolutely love to see the fruits of his research to improve the scent of flowers.
Yeah. It. I also like how he's working with like lotuses there, as opposed to like any of the other plants that are currently hanging out around here. But yeah, just gonna sort of wander around for a little bit before wandering into the courthouse itself. This is the symbol compound, which is apparently the symbol of Greentown itself. Alright, cool. That's a rig up too. Here I am, marking it off on my sheet of paper, because that's important. Please keep the meaning of the symbol stored in your memory. Actually stored in my actual memory, like the Side Beast, or, is that a metaphor?
Yeah, specifically speaking to a Navi about this, it seems a bit more literal than if it was said to a person.
Yep. This is a new virus. This is the Gregar. The Gregar takes half damage from most attacks, except breaking attacks. If you hit him with a breaking attack, they are instantly deleted. So, they're sort of priority enemies. Anytime you know they show up, you should probably be packing breaking chips in your folder. Guess who doesn't do that on a regular occasion? That's right, it's this guy. They're a little bit easier when you're playing Cybeast Falzer because you have not one but two breaking crosses that you have access to. And, instead I've just got to sort of force my way through with Heat Cross here and other chips. But yeah, Kragers, they can be a little bit rough to fight sometimes. And now that they're prevalent, I should totally take the time to put more breaking chips in the folder, right? Right?
Yep.
Right?
Any second.
Any second now, yeah. The armadillo viruses that we've seen a couple times up to this point, they give a breaking chip called Iron Shell, but I don't throw them into the folder for a little while here because we haven't seen that many of them, and they don't really work with the rest of stuff that's in the folder at the moment. But yeah, a lot of flowers, a lot of greenery. It's a very nice place here. I take a look at what this guy's got. He doesn't have unlockers. I don't care what he's got. Goodbye.
I did like the concept of the electronic book that processes paperwork that we saw there earlier.
Yep. I also like how there's this guy just sort of hanging out here, looking shady as heck. Freeze.
Oh, now we're under arrest.
Yep. Eagle-eyed viewers can recognize this guy from his pants and his shoes, but we'll leave the reveal until later on when he officially reveals himself. I also like how he's going straight to, this is a command, you know? This kid who disobeyed his parents to go install a Psy Beast into Mega Man is gonna totally listen to this punk kid hanging out near the entryway.
Yeah, if he knows anything about Lan Hikari and Mega Man, considering he specifically recognized him and stopped him on the stairs, he should know that telling Lan, you have to listen to this order, is going to make that the last thing he does.
I mean, when's that ever worked when he's tried to tell Lan that? I don't think it ever has. Also, there's a lot of security in place here. The security bots in Cyber Academy, they had fire built into them. These guys, they might have a little bit something else for the ability to subdue and apprehend criminals, but I find it interesting that they have a specific ordinance for, like, people not crossing the threshold into the courthouse itself. Like, man, really? You gotta go that far? Like, part of the point of a public building is that in most cases you could just show up, say hello, and just go straight up to your, like, elected representatives and yell at them. But here at the court, nah, you can't even enter the building. It's wild.
Yeah, I can attest that, having done jury duty, there's a fair number of security in the area that I live to get up to the jury waiting area and to get to some of the courtroom areas. But yeah, nothing so strict as you will be immediately arrested if you accidentally walk through a metal detector.
Or, like, just walk in the front door,
Right. They would probably stop you and make you go through a security check, for any weapons or contraband before you can enter a courtroom, even as a spectating member of the public. But that's about it.
Yeah, like, it feels like a very disproportionate response. But yeah, that guy sells unlockers. I've got a couple of them. I love how they sell unlockers right next to, like, a place where you could use an unlocker here. And here these guys are talking about sneaking snacks and if it's a crime. Greentown is very silly for all of the rules and ordinances they have created for themselves. It's very strange. I also like how Mega Man's just like, I don't want to be a lawyer yet.
Also, the argument that if the snack that you snuck was expired, then it would be a crime against the snack sneaker. I don't think that's how it works. You can't eat someone's expired food and then say, you're trying to poison me, you are the guilty party.
Yep, especially when you stole it from somebody else. But then again, there's, like, fun things in the law about, like, breaking and entering and hurting yourself as you enter. You may be able to sue the homeowner for damages of, like, hurting yourself as you go in. Because I'm pretty sure there was a case in California about that where somebody broke in through a skylight and hurt themselves, and they were able to sue the owner of the house for damages. Even though they hurt themselves doing an illegal activity on the property, they still got money out of it. So,
yeah, I can certainly understand some of the cases I've heard about where people intentionally set up booby traps. Like, obviously, if you intend to harm someone who breaks into your property or crosses a certain doorway threshold, yes, you can't just set up something that will willy-nilly harm anyone who might approach. But yeah, assuming that you didn't specifically design your domicile in a way to attack intruders, if someone gets trapped in your garage or falls off a ladder and hurts themselves while breaking into your home, come on.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here. Home Alone, that kid should be arrested and thrown in jail.
If the precedent of those trials is anything to go by.
Right. So yeah, this guy, instead of selling battle chips, he sells Navi customizer parts. And I immediately know exactly what I'm going for and buy myself a custom one and a chip shuffle. Chip shuffle is really powerful. It's been in the game in multiple forms up to this point, starting in Battle Network 4. You press the shuffle button and it will shuffle anything that you haven't already, like, chosen for your folder to bring into combat with you. So you can sort of dig through your folder to look for program advances or for gigachips and that kind of thing. The algorithm for determining what battle chips you get seems to be biased to bury Giga chips as deep down in your folder as they possibly can. But Search Shuffle is still really good for moving stuff around in your folder if you need it. And then on top of that, Custom 1 expands your choices from 5 battle chips at the start of battle to 6. And in conjunction, they are very powerful. It's going to be a very long time before I'll be able to make use of any of that, because Chip Shuffle is a massive piece of software, much bigger than I currently have space for in the Navi Customizer. So there will be a day when it returns and I demonstrate its full power, but that day is not today. Also, here's yet another Unlocker Purple Mystery data. Like, there was the one in the green HP, there's one out here. They really want you to be carrying these things around. Like, I could have a lot more HP than I have at this point, but instead I've chosen to spend that money on unlockers so that I don't have to come back for them. It's strange to me, you know? Then there's a little bit of contemplation here, just trying to figure out, what do I want to do to beat these guys? The Lance can remove any of the guys in the back, but then I'll have to combine chips for any of the guys in the front. Maybe this is a good time to demonstrate Heat Cross? Yes, it is. It's, like, the bad thing about getting Heat Cross so soon is that, okay, you have to take Heat Man into the seaside area, which, like, I sort of demonstrated the run out of it, which, like, I'm pretty sure I could have jacked out and jacked back in for, but then you get to Greentown here and everything's wood, and you have Heat Cross. Like, you just sort of tear through these guys like nobody's business.
Exactly.
Yep. If you're just sort of struggling at this point, you just stack as many attack pluses as you can get, and then you just, like, turn on the firearm, and you just mow through everything in here. It's like, it feels like this game was catered to Siamese Gregar in some ways, and this is one of them. So, like they said earlier, like, the intention of the green area here is, like, their network is set up to mimic, like, a tree with spreading roots, and we're in the spreading roots section. The teleport pads at the top were teleporting between, like, the branches and the crown of the tree, and then that long, like, 3 square wide ramp is, like, the trunk of the tree itself. So it's kind of cool that they're sort of, like, building designs and shapes into their network, but at the same time, Green Area 1 and 2 are a bit of a hassle to run around because of all of the, like, spreading root stuff that's going on. And also, we were given an axe. It cuts down this tree only. We passed that other tree, can't do it. The axe is not nearly strong enough to cut that one. Too bad. It's kind of fun that, like, the gateways are sort of coded to whatever element they come from, though, you know?
And unfortunately, now we don't have a pretty Christmas tree in our central area 3 anymore.
Nope, not anymore. Land just had to cut it down. Which also sort of makes me think, like, hey, there used to be something there. Like, nobody could get through until we cut that down. One of the other things that was sort of demonstrated there by me just fired a bunch of shots at them. One of the effects of Heat Cross that goes unnoticed a couple times is the, like, you get Buster +1 whenever you wander into Heat Cross, so it helps you, like, cover any power gaps, and it also makes you stronger as long as you're in it. I also took a little bit of time to wait for Life Sword to show up there. It showed up quick. Life Sword is extremely powerful. You can get it entirely in the star code in this game, so it's really nice to just throw it into a folder and make it work. I was pointing out there with the 2 Bomb Corn battle chips that there's a program advanced for those 2. I don't have enough chips for it yet, so I'm just like, well, at some other point, I'll come in and put it into my folder. And I look through the Expo folder here, just to kind of see what's in here. They got Life Sword and not much else. Eventually, I will replace that folder with a bunch of extraneous garbage, so I never have to look at it again. It's, yeah.
It's certainly nice to have a second folder there if you want to switch between a couple different playstyles, like, oh, for this next area, like, I'm going into green area, I'm going to be using Heat Cross a lot, let's put together a folder that has a lot of fire attacks in it, but you don't want to completely override everything that you're doing on your main folder.
Yeah. Or to have a folder specifically for Navi battles and a folder specifically for random virus encounters as you go through.
Yes.
That's another good way to do it. And part of it also is, like, you can rebuild that second folder to whatever specifications you need to fight navies. And then whenever you sweep through viruses, you're like, well, I need a breaking chip in my folder. I need this chip in my folder. I need this, that, and the other thing. And you build accordingly. This folder that I'm currently running uses the LM and N code in it because I have... I'm sorry, this is... We need to learn about the law now. This is only letting people in who are experts on the law. So we need to go back and talk to that group of nerds who are practicing the law in Greentown's homepage here. So we're going to be late for trial, not only because we weren't told that we have to get a pass to get in, but getting the pass requires you to know a little bit about law yourself. So we have to sign up to this lawyers organization to be able to figure it out. Greentown is absolutely ridiculous, and I hate this place. If you hit Mr. Frog on the head, the punishment is something that's really infuriating. It got him mad. This game is very strange.
And they don't have a set idea of what the infuriating thing is, because different things infuriate different people. So that's just the punishment. Something infuriating.
Yep. And that other guy doesn't even tell us what it was that made him so mad the previous time. Alright, dude. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really goofy to, like... We handed over our entire, like, judgment process to computers. This is what we get for it. Also, that's Dustman there. He spits out a big chunk of something from his body that flies forward and crushes whatever ends up in front of him. So he can hit all the way in the back, but he only hits once. I think there's some sort of secret technique to get more damage out of him, but I don't remember what it is, unfortunately. So
when you're playing as the Junk Cross, you can hold B and left to absorb any debris on the battlefield, and then you basically shoot that out.
Yeah, just
in front of you.
Yeah, just beat up the obstacles.
So I wonder if that's part of it when using the chip, if you could do that to somehow absorb more. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, the fun thing there is you can press the select button to like flip your like menu out of the way and bring it back up. That on my controller is currently set up to be like this selects the save state 8 slot, so I try to press select as little as I can because, you know, I don't need to remind everyone I'm playing on an emulator for this. I have a capture card, but there are some things that are just very convenient to do with, you know, just firing up OBS and making it work.
Right.
Yep. So, the Corn, in my opinion, is one of the most fanciful virus ideas that have ever been made in a Mega Man game. What else do you think sort of matches the fun of the Corn virus?
Well, the puffers are pretty fun.
Yep.
In terms of just a weird concept for a virus, though, I want to say the Rush enemies.
Yeah. Those guys only, like, were around in Battle Network 1 and 2, but they were a really fun enemy, too. Like, it's a dog that sort of, like, digs its own hole and pops out of it occasionally. Or, actually, technically it's called, like, a mole, I think. Even though, you know, it looks like a dog. But in the original games, it was sort of a timing challenge, where it would go into a hole, pop back out somewhere else, you would have to hit it, then it would go back into the hole, pop back up somewhere else. You played Whack-A-Mole with it. And once you won Whack-A-Mole, it would give you a really good chip. The pop-up chip was really good back in the day. It's sort of phased out of use currently because, like, they had other concepts to use instead of it. But the... Also, I love how I tried using the drill there, and it just pushed him back entirely out of the way of the drill. Missed the delete there. Oops. But they added, like, a mole in Battle Network 2 that had, like, 800 HP, and instead of taking only 1 damage per hit, which, like, the regular moles did, you did your actual real damage to it, and you just had to deal 800 damage before it decided to leave. And it was packed full of, like, the really good chips. but you just had to be on the ball on deleting it quick, otherwise you weren't going to be able to get it. Yeah, is there anything else besides the Rush virus that you think was really good and you'd like to see back?
I don't know.
I also like how when you isolate the corn from being able to get into the front row, it stops attacking. So if a corn could, I don't know, get caught in the front row or in the front column, it would just continuously attack, and I think that's kind of fun. But I finally got the corn I'm looking for. All of the corn is going in. We're going to have ourselves a corn fiesta. It's going to be great. But yeah, before I rudely interrupted, what other viruses are cool that we'd like to see back again?
Let's see. Thinking about in any previous games, I really liked the design of the Scuttlest family.
Yeah, those guys.
I'm mainly just encountering those as part of the virus collecting mini game that they had in that game. But always fun to see.
Yeah, those guys were really interesting because they were sort of like in the first game they just sort of spawned to support the final boss, and then enough of them were just kind of created that in the second and third games they were just sort of hanging out in specific areas. Like people had sort of collected them or hoarded them in place, and they were really interesting to fight because they had an aura around them that like you had to deal a certain amount of damage before you could even start hurting them. Generally it was 100, sometimes it was 150, sometimes it was 200, and they fired freaking laser beams. They were really cool. And you could tell whenever you saw them then like, oh no, this fight is going down. And they just sort of disappeared to the sands of time. It'd be really nice to see them come back, yeah.
Do they still have the enemies that fire the mask forward?
Oh, there's the Megalian virus, which had the aura and would shoot its head at you, and it looked like a Roman bust. Those guys are in this game. And then there was like a bush that had a big mask on it. When it would fire the mask off, it would poison your area. Those guys are not in this game. Those guys are like Poison Mask and Poison Face, and they could be a bit of jerks sometimes because they like to carry area grab so that they could like lock you into place. And the other fun thing about them is like their mask blocked any frontal damage to them, so they could just like block whatever was gonna hit them with. Also, I tried to demonstrate here like, hey, these are the bees. This is what happens. But I think like, oh yeah, no, the double shot will go right through the bees. And then I realize, oh no, it totally doesn't. And I just get bit by the bees. It's really bad news for me.
Yeah, I really don't like fighting those viruses specifically.
Yeah, you got to be able to delete them in one shot with a fire attack. And luckily, Gregar can handle that. Falzer not quite as much. By the way, we're here. Underneath the base of that massive tree is the undernet 0. This is a late game area packed to the gills with difficult viruses, and we can just access it here in the middle early point of the game. We've never seen that virus hanging out in the pit of sand. We've seen previous versions of these gunner guys, but we've never seen them quite like this. It's a really interesting place.
Also, I think it's very good narratively that the entrance to the undernet, basically the dark web of this game, is buried underneath the Greentown area. Like, right underneath the zone of law and order is the dark web.
Yeah. Like, right under... Also, like, that massive tree in there can be, like, maybe it's supposed to be, like, Yggdrasil or something, and it's, like, at the foot of the world tree where, like, Helheim would be in, like, Norse mythology. Maybe that's what's also going on here. I don't know. There's a lot of symbolism going on here, and I really like it.
Interpretation.
Yeah. Undernet 0 is also an interesting place. I'm looking around for hidden mystery data underneath the platforms, because I thought they did that in this game. You'll have to watch and see to find out if I'm correct or not. But Undernet 0 is carved up into 3 separate chunks that you access from different areas. And, like, part of the reason I'm able to stand toe-to-toe with some of these viruses is because I have these chips that I pulled out of the number lotto. Like, here's Element Trap, wiping an encounter. There was Time Bomb 1 in the first encounter that wiped it. There was, like, Mega Boomerang that got me through it. And we're wandering over here so that we can meet an old friend. Someone that we've haven't been able to see for a long time. The Cyberworld's God of Destruction is a hell of a title, but I love how immediately Mega Man's just like, you don't think it's gonna be this guy, do ya? Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be that guy. It's time. For the
Is that relevant to Gregar version? It's base.
yeah, it's Base. Base is back, baby. He's lean, he's mean, and he's had a bit of a AI change to change him up from the previous games that he appeared in. So he got redesigned between Battle Network 1, 2, and 3 and 4, 5, 6. And he stays pretty similar to his 4 and 5 counterparts here, where he keeps this attack, the Buster Rake, and then he keeps this attack, the Hell Wheel, but he drops a couple other attacks out of his arsenal and adds a couple more in.
You can quite a lot of damage to you.
Yeah, you can see here that he has a lot of HP, and we are not, like, the next boss we're going to fight has 800 HP, I think. He has 1,800. He's got some big attacks. They come out relatively quick because he only has to move once or twice before doing them. He's also intangible as he moves around, so if you mistime your attacks, he's just going to slip through them. And, like, this entire fight is about being able to sort of keep him off balance and keep him from attacking. The Buster Rate comes out really quick, and it can really rack up damage on you. So you need to keep hitting him so that you don't, like, lose from it. But then also, he has his bigger attacks that are also really good at dealing damage and wiping you out. And as you can see there, I get wiped out by the Buster Rake. I'm going to come back after this episode and give him what for, because I can take him at this point, but it's really tough. Like, it's nice that they sort of preview base now so that you can sort of see what's coming. And if you're somebody like me who's played this game a lot, you can take him on at this point, but it's a challenge that's sort of hard to deal with, you know?
Sorry, go ahead.
You first.
It's sort of like going through New Game Plus in Chrono Trigger, how there are multiple points where you can go through and confront the final boss. If you think you know what you're doing, you're strong enough, you can fight him earlier than you, quote-unquote, were supposed to, based on the narrative of the story, just to show off.
Yeah. It's always really fun. It's really good. And actually, since we're continuing to talk about this, there's a lot of other games that have sort of, like, had their final bosses, or, you know, bonus bosses show up earlier. So, here we are. We're back for the base fight itself. Since we just kept the thought going, I figured, oh, wait, it doesn't seem to be recording audio with it? Can you talk for me?
Hello?
Okay. Something was happening strange on my end. But, yeah, we're just going to include this at the end of this episode. I went back and I kicked Base's butt. We're disturbing his sleep. We're going to pick a fight. He's telling us pathetic weaklings to be gone. So, the main strategy for Base is you don't want him to fire off the Buster Rake all that much while you're unprotected, because it's going to wreck your face. You saw it delete me. I don't want that to happen. So generally, the strategy is to sort of wait until he can move 3 times, fire off the Buster Rake. Then he moves once or twice, I think. Also, I hit him too early, so he starts the attack anyway. You then wait for him to go back to that panel in the center back, and then he'll throw out the Hell's Rolling. Then he'll do the Buster Rake. Then if you're hanging out in the front, he does the Dark Sword attack, and then after there, it just sort of becomes chaotic, and I don't have it memorized anymore. But we're going to show off the Heat Beast here, because I need any advantage I can get. The other fun thing about it is, with it hopping up to the front, I'm able to sort of get him real quick. Another note about it, the Gregar Vulcan only does, like, 5 damage base there, even though with Heat Cross I should have, like, more. The Buster abilities always cap out at 5. So I'm here, I'm down to 1 turn left. I'm starting to run out of time on the Beast. I have showed that I can dodge the wheels relatively well, but everything else can be a little bit tough for me. The Golem hit comes out really quick. That's Tank Cannon. Like, Base just gets battle chips they can just throw out at any time in case he's thinking that you're doing alright. But here is the real fun. We're going to go to Beast Over. Beast Over is what happens when you try to beast out and you're absolutely out of energy. Mega Man becomes invincible for a while. He fires the Buster at will. He hops in front of enemies to keep attacking. And until your custom gauge fills, you will be invulnerable and in the state. The moment it fills, you drop out of Beast over to regular Mega Man. You're extremely tired. You can't go into Beast out. I don't think you can even, like, cross fuse, and your HP slowly drains. Like, it's a severe penalty for that power, but yet you can do stuff like this, beat base early by relying on it. So it's a lot of fun to be able to just have that in your pocket just in case. So yeah, we beat base essentially as early as we could. Isn't that cool?
Very nice.
Yeah. And then this here is just showing the folder so you can take a look. Yep, this is what I built to take care of this. And yeah, thanks for coming out. I've been Nelson Air. This has been Let's Play Mega Man Battle Network 6. I've been Gregar. I hope y'all have a nice day.
See ya.